This is Punk Rock and Politics, and today is September 12th, 2017, and this is episode number 36. Let's do this!
These days are strange, it's true.
I would bomb the shit out of them.
If you think that punk rock doesn't mix with politics, you're wrong.
Welcome to Punk Rock and Politics. Today is a very special episode. I recently had the pleasure to attend Sunstock Solar Festival. This was an amazing festival. It was a combination of political and environmental activists, music, and art. And it was all powered by the sun. So throw on some shades, sit back and grab a drink, and enjoy the sounds of Sunstock 2017. And it's all powered by the sun. And this episode features interviews and speeches from Skylar Funk, the co-founder of Sunstock, Robert Delong, Soft White Sixties, Elliott, Gonzales with Oil Money Out and Stop Fracking Long Beach, and Coalition 350, Zero Waste Co., and Imperfect Produce. This episode will be featuring music from the Soft White Sixties, Fuzzy Crystals, and of course Trapdoor Social. So let's get to Sunstock 2017, but first, here's the news of the week.
Here's what's making news.
President Trump sent out the evil Keebler elf, also known as Attorney General Jeff Sessions, to announce the end of DACA, the Deferred Action for Child Arrivals. The program protected immigrants who were brought here illegally as children. The law was established by the Obama administration in 2012. Here's Attorney General Jeff Sessions on DACA.
I'm here today to announce that the program known as DACA that was effectuated under the Obama administration is being rescinded. The DACA program was implemented in 2012 and essentially provided a legal status for recipients for a renewable 2-year term, work authorization, and other benefits, including participation in the Social Security program to 800,000 mostly adult illegal aliens. The policy was implemented unilaterally to great controversy and legal concern after Congress rejected legislative proposals to extend similar benefits on numerous occasions to this same group of illegal aliens. In other words, the executive branch, through DACA, deliberately sought to achieve what the legislative branch specifically refused to authorize on multiple occasions.
This move will affect 800,000 young adults, also known as Dreamers, who, if Congress does not act, could face deportation by early March 2018. Hopefully, Congress will revisit the issue since DACA does have widespread bipartisan support. Hurricane Irma hits Florida, and between Hurricane Harvey, which hit Houston, and Hurricane Irma, which hit Florida, it's the first time in U.S. history we've been hit with 2 Category 4 hurricanes in the same season. Perhaps it's time to talk about climate change. 7 establishment Democrats have announced their intent to co-sponsor Senator Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All legislation, which Sanders will officially unveil on Wednesday of this week. So far, Senators Cory Booker, Jeff Merkley, Elizabeth Warren, and Kamala Harris are supporting the Medicare for All bill. You know, the legislation that Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton said was a fantasy. It seems the only fantasy now is a Hillary Clinton presidency. And Congress raises the debt ceiling and avoids a government shutdown in a 316-90 vote in the House of Representatives. The bill is attached to an emergency hurricane aid legislation providing $15 billion in relief funds for Hurricane Harvey and Irma. And on this day in rock history, September 12, 2003, singer-songwriter Johnny Cash died of respiratory failure at the age of 71. But thankfully, Johnny Cash's music lives on. And that's the news of the week! Hi, this is Mike from Punk Rock and Politics, and we're here at Sunstock Solar Festival. We're going to be walking around talking to some activists, some musicians, and some fans about, well, you know, music, punk rock, and how we can make the world a better place. So here, let's check it out.
The thing that I encourage you to do with each other is to not find ways to like pick at each other or attack each other or put each other down or be competitive in the sense that like, oh, I'm using less waste, I'm producing less waste than you, and my trash bag is only this size and yours is this size. So instead of being competitive with each other and kind of using it as a reason to find ways to, claim that you're better than the other person, let's really work on encouraging each other and sharing these tips that work, because breaking people down and criticizing each other is never going to solve any problems. But I know that there's plenty of things that we do on a daily basis that really maybe other people hadn't thought about, but once they see you or they hear you mention it, they might then think about it. If you work in a big area, if you work at a place like Trader Joe's and there's a common lunchroom, be that person that is, that brings utensils from your house that are mismatched. Be that person that brings those extra coffee cups that are ugly that you got at an event that you're never going to use again. Contribute those things. Don't wait for management to set it up for you. Don't wait for, the captain or whoever's running the show at your job to set that up. You yourself can influence your co-workers and your upper management by contributing in these small ways. So again, I just would really encourage you to look around, find the things that work, and share those tips with other people. I know that when I was younger, we didn't buy Tupperware. I remember a time when we didn't go out and buy specific Tupperware. When the butter ran out, when the jar of butter ran out, when the sour cream ran out, that's where we put our leftovers in. And that's what we took to school or work the next day. So, that's something that I grew up with. And to me, that's perfectly normal. And so same thing, that's how I would encourage people who maybe can't afford to go out and buy glass Tupperware or these types of materials. Find what you already have at home. Save yourself some money, and in the long run, like I said, you might inspire somebody. Somebody might say, oh, I never thought about using that little salsa jar for my salad dressing or for putting my fruit in there. But there's so many things that we can all do right now. So really just know that when we all do these little things collectively, we can have an impact. And right now we're at the point where unless we change the way we're doing things now, there really is no turning back. And I don't yet think, maybe one day, but I'm definitely not part of that group of the population that can afford to move to Mars. I don't even know that my kids can be part of that population. So while I'm here on this planet, while my children are on this planet, I'm going to do whatever I can to ensure that they can continue to enjoy life the way I have, that they're able to go camping in Yosemite, that they're able to see the sequoias, that they're able to jump off waterfalls in Hawaii. All these things that we might take for granted now, these are treasures. These are treasures, beautiful things that we have on our planet, which we don't really know if they exist on another planet or not. They might, we just haven't gotten there yet. So while this is the only planet that we know of, the only home that we know that we can inhabit, it's really up to us to take care of it. It's not up to our elected officials, it's not up to the president, it's not up to school leaders, it's really up to us. So start with what you can in your own home, finding ways to save money, and I bet you that from there you will find things that you can do, which in turn, at the same time, will help the environment. So don't feel overwhelmed, don't be depressed, be hopeful, because we are powerful, we are smart, we've got technology, which is rapidly advancing and making it so that we can communicate instantly with people all over the world. So really, just feel the power that you all have, and just go with that and encourage others. So thank you for having me on here, and have so much fun today. And check out Zero Waste Co. if you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's at Zero Waste Co. There's some tips, there's calls to action, there's links to petitions. The website isn't that great, but there's a lot of stuff on Instagram and Twitter, so I encourage you to check it out. And thank you, guys.
Thank you. Did everybody get watermelon? Get some bites. There is a compost bin right there. Composting to me has become, I think, one of the most accessible solutions possible, right? Because we literally don't have to do much. There's a green bin you can just dump it in, right? And it's when you're at events or at your job and saying, can we just add a composting bin to this, right? So think about the carbon that actually comes out. I don't know if she mentioned this, but 1 pound of food waste is easily 1 pound of CO2, arguably closer to 3 with the methane emission, which is 25 times worse than carbon. So we might be waiting on, oh, you're here. Joan Claire works with a great company called Movie Mind Green. Here in Los Angeles, obviously a lot of the film industry takes place, and there's a lot of waste that happens there. Her company is amazing because a lot of studios are trying to be green. Everybody wants to be green. There's a lot of green washing, but how do we actually make that easier? There's not enough of systems in place to actually help movie sets go green, or film festivals, or different events like this. Before I bring her up, I just want to give a quick plug to Imperfect Produce, who actually supplied all that watermelon. You guys have to check this out because Imperfect Produce is an incredible company that is taking food that would otherwise be thrown out. We have insane standards off of the look of fruit and vegetables now that end up in our supermarket. If they don't look exactly the perfect shape, if they don't have the exact curvature of the banana or the exact right this or that or color shading, we throw this stuff out. It goes to a landfill. That's all the resources that went into producing that food. That's all the resources that went into shipping that food. We throw it out, that adds even more carbon back into the atmosphere. So Imperfect Produce takes that perfectly good food that might be a little uglier than what you're used to, and you buy it at an insane discount, and they ship it right to your door. Check them out. They're here today.
What's up, guys? I'm here with the Soft White 60s, and I'm here with
Octavio Genera.
Dude, the coolest name I think I've heard. And you guys are currently writing a song called Brick by Brick, right? And what's that about?
Well, it's already all done. It's coming out on a new album that's coming out in the new year, but we have a single coming out in October by the Brick by Brick.
So what do you guys think about Trump's wall? Like, what's your opinion,
I mean, me being Mexican American and having parents that have moved and having family and friends that have done that, I don't like the idea of someone putting a spotlight on one culture and one thing and saying that that's the cause of so many problems, when it's literally the cause of so much greatness in a country.
Yeah.
And it's the cause of so many great things that are here, and just to be negative about something, everything has two sides to it, and I think just refusing to see the positive side of something is really irresponsible.
Yeah. I think I saw a statistic. It was like an average Americans is 1 in 10 is a criminal, but with the dreamers, it's like 1 in 400.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, it's just, I mean, because it's something that you come with. You come here, you're born in a way, and it's you work harder, you try harder, it's like, I don't know. It's hard for me to even talk about the statistic because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's picking and choosing the numbers you want and displaying them in a way that can swing people that are impressionable. And it's not educated. It's not responsible. It's just not respectable.
Exactly. But I know it's hard. It's difficult for you because of your background to talk about it. But I think it's important for you and for people of a Hispanic or Latino background to be able to speak up and actually stand up against the president.
Yeah, and it's not. This is the thing: is that it's not just an all-out thing against the president or this and that. It's just it's a policy. Yes. It's a state of mind.
Yep. Well,
and he's just
Sheriff Joe. We have right. Sheriff Joe,
and he's just the arrow. The spearhead of that state of mind.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's his state of mind. I don't know if that's something to just garner praise and garner attention and garner following, but it's a very skewed state of mind. It's a shallow state of mind. It's very picking and choosing things that back what you want to believe, and I just don't think it's very encompassing of really what any culture represents.
Yeah.
Whether it's white or Native American or Black, Hispanic, Latino. I mean, it's just you can't lump one whole entire group with one statement like that. And that's the thing. And that's the one thing that bothers me is just that simplicity and using that broad of a stroke to encompass something that is so broad.
Yeah. Well, when I first heard it, you know, it was the his campaign speech, and it was actually when he kicked off his campaign speech.
Right.
When he announced for president.
Right. That's what I mean. It's a big thing.
Yeah. When he announced for president is when he said they're bringing in rapists and murderers, and then he goes now pardon Sheriff Joe, and he's still sticking with the wall. So at first I thought maybe he was just trying to appease his racist base, but I think
as well.
I think now it's actually who he wants man. You know,
it's, and the thing is too is like you see the world through the lens you grew up in.
Yes.
And I have no idea what the hell the lens he's looking through. I mean, I did not grow up that way. So I don't know.
A millionaire in New York.
Right. I don't know. Yeah. He thinks he pulls himself up by his own bootstraps and everything.
With a small loan of $1 million. And
I like one of my friends told me a saying that I think is really great. It's like, don't think you hit a double when you were born on second.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, look,
dude.
you were born on third.
With a fucking silver spoon up your ass, man. You were born.
And I have nothing. I have nothing against that. With the way you're born, nothing. That's fine. But your attitude in you, the way you approach the world and everything, that's your choice.
That shows a lot about
you
who
can
you
do
are.
it. There's a lot of great people that were born with said silver spoon in their mouth that have done great things.
That's very true.
You
that
can't just say that everybody
all
that has
of
that
them
way
are bad.
and all these people that were born impoverished are great and noble.
I agree.
There's people at end of the spectrums that are great, and there's people that are crooked at both.
Just like on the political spectrum, on both sides, you have good and bad on both sides.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, we're all we're all humans. We're all Americans.
That's it. It's just disrespectful. That's all. I just don't like the idea of that being so disrespectful and so opinionated and not. It's emotional. It's not logical.
You hit it on the nail on the head. He is using the emotions of people, he's using their emotions to get them mad, their emotions to get votes and everything, and that's really what they're doing.
I'm sorry, but we gotta get going.
We gotta get going. Octavio, I'm gonna let you go because you gotta get on fucking stage, dude. I'm gonna hear what is this last song by you guys, Beverly?
The next song that you're gonna hear is called Miss Beverly. It's off our EP we just released, and we got a new album coming out in the new year.
And it's by
the Soft White Sixties.
Soft White Sixties. Fuck yeah! Thanks, Octavio.
For sure, man. Take
care.
Go
rock the stage, bro. Thank you.
There's no need to be clever when intentions are true. I was always planning, but the moment chooses you. And now you stand in front of me, and I can hardly speak. My heart, my world, nice to meet you, Beverly. I saw a picture of you and him. How bad I wanna be in the world he's in. I kept on moving, dragging my dreams, hoping, wishing, praying you were here when leave. And now you're single, finally. Nice to meet you, Miss Beverly. No need to be clever when intentions are true. I was always planning, but the moment chooses you. Now you stand in front of me, and I can hardly speak. My heart, my world, nice to meet you, Beverly. 3 years of waiting.
you do when your community is under attack? Stand up, fight back. What do you do when your community is under attack? Stand up, fight back. What do you do when the water's under attack? Stand up, fight back. What do you do when your elders are under attack? Stand up, fight back. What do you do when the water's under attack? Stand up, fight back. What do you do when the land is under attack? Stand up, fight back. What do you do when the women are under attack? Stand up, fight back. The City of Los Angeles owes a lot of royalties to the indigenous, the Tongva Nation, Tataviam, Hashiman, and Shubash are not going to ask for it, but we need to remind them that this fight is not over and it's in our backyards. Oil money out, people power in.
One more time for my sister Lydia Ponce. Always bringing the inspiration, topped with revolution, and that's what we need. Next up, I want to introduce Patricia Chen. She's with 350 SoCal. She is also an urban planner, so there's a lot of crossover there. She sees it from different angles. Yeah, so you can tell us a little bit more about the way you've seen this issue through your different experiences and what we can do to help.
Hi, thank you. Okay, I'm Patricia Chen with Long Beach 350, and our slogan is People Power Creating Solutions to the Global Climate Crisis. And a couple of the solutions that we're working on right now are working with the city on the Climate Action Plan so that they can pull all those levers with us and make more incentives for greener cars and more bikes and less of that junk going on down at the port. And the other thing that we're working on is community choice energy. We're going to make our own power. It's going to be 100% green if we want it. And oftentimes it's cheaper. And we have the opportunity to bring in, good, green, well-paying jobs for folks and have an opportunity for people to transition out of those refinery jobs or whatever working for Chevron and work on solar and wind instead. So this is all a really happy story, right? Except there's people like, I understand, Stephen Bradford, who's working on a law that would make the community choice energy groups pay money to the utilities because they took their customers. Now, does that make any sense? Does T-Mobile pay Verizon or AT&T when they take their customers? I don't think so. Okay, so I'm willing to bet that Bradford is taking oil money. What do you think? So let's all go down to Bradford's office and tell him, oil money out, people power in. Oil money out. People power in. Oil money out. People power in. Very good. Thank you very much.
Okay, we are down to our final speaker, Elliott Gonzales. He's with Stop Fracking Long Beach. He's also with Oil Money Out and many other campaigns around the region.
And so folks may not know about fracking, or maybe they've heard about it, but they think that's not happening here in California. That's happening in the Midwest or in Canada or something like that. Well, what I think a lot of people don't realize is something called acidizing is happening here in California. In fact, what I think most people don't realize is that, to be honest with you folks, all the good stuff is gone. You know, you think of the Beverly Hillbillies back, the intro where they shoot at the ground and then some oil comes spouting up. Those days are gone. Those days are long gone, folks. That's why they were so desperate to go into Alaska to go drill, because that's one of the few places that they haven't tapped into. So in order to get oil out of the ground for us to be able to drive our cars and endlessly consume plastic crap, we have to use acids to get that last bit out. We have to poison the ground. We have to take that last bit of water that we have, because we don't have our water guaranteed for the next generation. We have to take the water that we have, fresh water, not salt water. We have to take fresh water, and we're going to inject it in the ground. We're going to take these acids, which also have radioactive components, put it into about a mile deep into places we really shouldn't be, to get that last bit of oil out. And that oil and that water and those acids and everything mix up, and they take that oil out, and then they sell it to the highest bidder. A lot of times what they try to do is tell us, oh, well, this is going in your gas tank. This is to help you here in California. No, they're selling it to the highest bidder. This is going to the gas tank of whichever country wants to buy it. If they're in China, if they're in India, they're in Saudi Arabia, whoever wants to drive, they're willing to put your community at risk. So that's what extreme extraction is. And the reason I wanted to tell everyone about it is because it is going to happen wherever you live, if you live anywhere where there is oil. So if you live in Los Angeles, if you live in Long Beach, if you live in Carson, you live in Wilmington, anywhere you live in this county, they're going to drill for oil using something called extreme extraction, using acidizing, something called acid matrix. These weird technical terms that no one has really heard of, and there's a reason for that. I recently read an article in Oil Processing Magazine, an industry article, that said that the oil industry is specifically looking to acidize California because fracking is getting a bad name. Because everyone's already heard about fracking from Gasland and everything going on the East Coast. So it's time for us to start acidizing the Monterey Shale in California. It doesn't matter if our home is there, if our communities are there. It doesn't matter to them if sea levels are rising, if there's 3 hurricanes and we have a city that just went underwater. It doesn't matter that we don't know that this planet will be habitable for future generations. What matters to them is that they get their profits, they get their return on investment, that the guys in Wall Street who have invested very heavily in getting that oil and gas are going to get their profits. So the reason we joined the Oil Money Out campaign here in Long Beach is as we were pushing for a ban on fracking in Long Beach, something we thought would be very simple. We have a city council that calls itself progressive. You know, they support LGBT rights and progressive causes when it's convenient. But when it comes to sticking up for our planet, when it comes to sticking up for our future generations, they're a little silent. And we were wondering why. It turns out they were all taking money from the oil and gas industry. In fact, it's not just in Long Beach. If you run for office in the state of California, that's usually how you get in. Those are the only people offering money, offering contributions of $1,000 or more. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have an extra $1,000. I don't know about you guys, but $1,000 to me is like rent, maybe some groceries. You know, I depend on all my income. I can't really go and make major contributions to political candidates. But who does? The oil and gas industry. They support Governor Brown. They support almost every elected official in the state of California. And that's why we have difficulties with things like a ban on fracking. These people who claim to be Democrats, who claim to be progressive, who claim to care about our children, somehow can't stop taking that oil money. And it's starting to get in the way. It's starting to get in the way of our progress and in the way of our future. We need to get oil money out of everything. We need to get oil out of everything. And so that's why we're with Oil Money Out. That's why we support all these great organizations today. So I want to thank everyone for being here today because I know that you all care about these issues as well. And I hope that we can win this battle together. Thank you.
Thank you, Elliott, Gonzales. Inspiring as always.
So I'm here with a couple of fans of the solar movement and Sunstock. I kind of just bombarded them with an interview. Can I get your guys' name?
Yeah, Annie. Oriana.
Awesome. Hey, and what brought you guys here to the Sunstock Solar Festival?
Well, my friend, and this is Ariana's sister actually, invited us to come. So we didn't actually know about it at first, but yeah, it's fun.
No, that's cool. Okay. So did you guys know that everything is being run off of solar power?
You know what? We just did hear that earlier, and that is pretty awesome.
It is pretty cool, right? So how do you feel about solar power and about the future? Are you passionate about it, or do you not think about it? Or
I think about it from time to time.
Cool.
Those solar installations, they used to be really huge. There tends to be a decrease in usage on them.
Yeah.
If I were to have a home on my own, I would definitely invest in solar panels. I think that's the way to go.
Cool. No, that's awesome. So you guys just totally happened to stumble upon the festival, and now you see that it's all solar power, ran by solar power. So do you think solar power and renewable energy is it possible? And do you think this is a possible future and that we can go in the direction of our future?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, just looking at this, it's amazing. It brings energy for so many people right
Definitely,
now, so.
Yeah. And
Totally.
what do you see around you really quick? Because, this is all audio. So if people didn't see any of the live video, what do you see around you really quick before I let you go?
Oh, yeah. Well,
we've got like tents, lit up tents, canopies, a live stage. It's really great out here. I mean, the vibe, it's not crazy crowded. It was really cool today. So, I mean, plenty of room for everyone just to hang out and enjoy themselves.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming out and having an interview and everything on the Punk Rock and Politics podcast.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So what brought you to Sunstock?
Well, actually, our son loves Rah Rah Riot.
Rah Rah Riot is super awesome. Yeah. And then did you guys actually know that the entire festival here is all run on solar panels?
We did.
Yeah, and how do you feel about that?
I think it's great. I mean, something that more events should do.
Definitely. And one thing I actually realized that California is one of the #1 exporting states of oil, and I had no idea. So something like this makes. What do you think? Do you think solar power is going to be a realistic thing in the future, or renewable energy?
I hope so. Otherwise, we're kind of done.
Thank you. Good. I completely agree. So hey, thanks for coming out to the event. Thanks for doing an interview.
Sure thing.
And I'm here with Robert. I'm here with Robert Delong, man, at Sunstock. Man, you really fucked up the stage, dude. You really rocked it out, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man. And so you knew Sunstock here. What made you want to play this, like 100% solar-powered festival?
Well, I mean, I just was. We were sent the offer when I read about it. It sounded cool. I mean, obviously, I think solar is a huge part of the future of powering our world, and I think the idea of a solar festival is dope. So I was happy to do it.
Definitely. And do you think solar power and everything? Do you think that is definitely possible after seeing like this show and what it's put on?
I mean, I think it's definitely possible. I mean, I know there's been a few festivals that have done it, and but I know that in general, I mean, I'm no expert in the matter, to be fair. I'm just a musician.
Yeah. Well, hey, Yeah, I mean, we were here. We're Punk Rock and Politics. We just talk about musicians, about music and everything. So
love it.
Oh yeah, what's another issue that you're really passionate about right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Another issue I'm passionate about. Well, putting me on the spot. I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I think the thing. I don't know. I mean, this is what I'm the worst at, is just trying to think on my feet like this. I would say, I mean, I think in general, I think because there's such a high availability of information worldwide, I just hope that people can overcome ignorance, which I feel like most problems can be solved in the world by people coming together and understanding things. And then, making decisions based on that. Like right now, I know very little about solar power at a festival, but I, understand that it's, a clean way to help the world, solve a part of the picture of solving the energy crisis.
And you've seen it here be able to happen, which something like you said, you're not an expert on, but then me either. I mean, just coming here, I'm very politically active, but I learned a lot about oil and a lot about California and about how we are one of the #1 producers of oil, which I had no idea here in California. I know.
I mean, I guess I've seen all the, the derricks down,
over in Long Beach.
And everything.
Yeah, you see it all over the place. So, okay, going back to ignorance, I really want to do this. Have you seen Idiocracy by Mike Joseph?
Okay, yeah. Idiocracy is like, to me, one of the most predictive pieces of fiction in the last 20 years.
It's become like a documentary, right?
Yeah, it's too much, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I know. So, okay, riffing off that, have you seen Kid Rock? Have you heard about Kid Rock trying to run for Senate?
I have heard just vaguely about it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to think about that.
Yeah.
I saw Kid Rock play one time at a festival I played, and it wasn't my cup of tea.
No, I mean, he's a musician, he's good, but I mean, he's running for office. I mean, what the fuck is going on, dude?
Right, yeah. I mean, we've had wrestlers in office,
Jesse Ventura. Yeah, Jesse Ventura.
We've had plenty of strange things happen. Ronald Reagan was the president. So
You're right, and he... I don't think our generation knows how weird that was, man. How weird Ronald Reagan was an actor and how he became president.
Yeah, I mean,
he was a joke.
Too bad Jack Benny wasn't the chief of staff, as as was predicted by Doc.
Dude.
But anyway.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, I do want to say one more time, you really, really rock the stage. And anyone who's checking this out, I want you to check out Robert Delong's music, because you were doing all the music. You were like hopping on drums, and you're doing vocals, and you're doing the synth. I mean, really, really awesome, dude. What music drove you to start playing music in the beginning? Like, what's your fundamental style?
I wouldn't say there's any. I mean, I've always just been interested in every style.
Wow.
I grew up listening to everything from, jazz fusion to punk rock, and I feel like, with the advent of computer music performance, I feel like I just tried to take pieces of everything I liked and stitch it together and hope for the best,
And you're really
Cross
doing
my fingers.
Yeah, and you're doing it great, dude. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. And Robert Delong, thank you so much for talking to us here on Punk Rock and Politics.
Totally. Have a good one.
Yeah, do you too. Okay, I'm here at the Climate 350 Coalition, and I'm here with
Sunna White.
Sunna White, and she is in a fabulous outfit that unfortunately you can't see because we're only audio.
Like the original icon, the sun goddess, and I have a wheel of fortune.
And we spun that. The wheel of sustainability.
That's right.
Yes.
Or I like to call it the renewable wheel of fortune. Such a better thing to spin than the denialist roulette that Scott Pruitt would have you spin.
Right. Hold on. So what are some of the actions that Coalition 350 are currently working on now?
All right. Well, if you spin our wheel, woo, you'll land on an action such as the great turning to renewable energy.
I think that was
and that has to do, of course, immediately right now has to do with SB 100, which is a bill poised to pass, we hope, and we're asking all of our representatives to vote for it here in California, which would be for 100% renewable energy by 2045. Of course, that's not soon enough.
And that's a state legislature. Wow.
And many people say, as goes California, so goes.
Yeah, definitely.
And so goes the world. Now, on that note, another thing is the West Coast oil invasion.
Okay.
Now that's even though California is all crunchy and nice, and we wear Birkenstocks, and we're passing this lovely renewable energy for ourselves. We are continuing to, and in fact, greatly ramping up a huge oil invasion coming from the Amazon, coming from the Alberta tar sands, where the boreal forests are being destroyed.
And here in California, I had no idea. I heard over here on the action stage earlier there was a presenter, and they were talking about how California is the #1 exporter of oil, and I had no idea.
What I'm trying to say is that there are a bunch of refineries. We have it right here on our card. We rattle them off on our card. Let's see if I can find it. The West Coast Oil Invasion card. Yes, here it is. See, so we have our card that explains what's going on. Then we have 3 actions that you can take, and then you win a prize if you take those actions. So yes, the oil refinery is located in the LA Harbor area, Long Beach, Carson, Torrance, and El Segundo areas, and they are stepping up their refinery action. So they're going to be bringing in Canada tar sands, dirty crude from the Amazon basin, and North Dakota Bakken shale oil. And not only are they putting our neighborhoods and our children and our water at great risk, they're also screwing all the people from those places where they're extracting oil in the most dirty, filthy way.
Right.
And of course, we can't afford to take any more oil out of the ground. We have to stop this fossil fuel infrastructure and keep it in the ground.
Right.
So we can't be saying, hey, we're going to have all 100% renewables, and then we're continuing to make all this money. Well, we're not making the money, but these businesses are making money here in California. That's like getting off drugs and then going and selling them to somebody else. That's not really getting off drugs.
Yeah, we're still using the oil, and it's still destroying our environment.
Yeah. And so we have to stop that. We have to stop being economically dependent on that very quickly, and we have to rapidly phase out all these fossil fuel refineries. And we don't want California to be doing it. And there's enough of us here in California that agree that we can stop it.
Exactly.
We can just stop
it. And here I'm from San Diego. I'm a local Californian. I'm totally, like you said, Birkenstocks to the very, very far left. And I had no idea that we were such an exporter of fossil fuels. We're starting to do fracking, that they're calling it acetone, the acetone drilling. So they have a new name. Instead of calling it fracking, they call it a new name. I had no idea any of this stuff's going on. So I'm really happy that organizations like the Coalition 350, there was another Take Money Out of Politics, a lot of organizations we talked to today.
Yeah.
I'm really happy you guys are out here. You're doing the hard work. You're volunteering. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Well, thank you for what you're doing.
Definitely.
We're really happy that you're doing a podcast.
And how can any of the listeners listening to the podcast, how can they get involved, and how can they get a hold of your coalition?
Yes. You can go to SoCal350.org. So we have a website, and we also are on Facebook. Just look for us, SoCal350. And then there are other chapters in Long Beach, and then if you want to join the big
There's like a
350,
national, right?
There's a national,
And
actually international, but mostly national.
And you know,
350.org, which refers to the carbon
350.org.
parts of carbon
Yes.
per million, and we want
Yes.
to go under that, and restore our atmosphere so that this lovely young lady can grow up in a beautiful
The
world.
next generation,
Yes.
exactly. And you know,
And us, really. 'cause, I mean, look at the world we're living in.
Yeah,
Armageddon.
definitely. Oh, I completely agree. And you know, I am like the ultimate lefty. So far to the left, I touch the right. And I will say, you guys, the 350 Coalition was the only leftist organization that was questioning Obama and standing up to Obama and standing up to the Dakota Access Pipeline. So I want to give your organization, the local one here, and the national organization a lot of credit because you guys, a lot of organizations kind of fell asleep during the last 8 years when Obama was in office, and now they're waking up. But you guys have been there. You've been doing the fight with Dakota Access Pipeline, and like, even before then, you have always been there. So
Well,
thank you with the organization.
Well,
so
my feeling is, even when you get a halfway decent politician in office, your job, and in fact, Obama kept saying, your job is to hold my feet to
Yes,
the fire.
yes,
The more you
yes,
push,
yes.
the more you rattle the gates, the more actually power you give them to do good.
Exactly.
So you got to be the angry horde or the loving horde.
Yeah.
Out there going,
Just
come on, man,
remind
let's
them.
do the right thing.
Yeah, it's the people over the money, you know?
That's right, that's
Awesome.
right.
Well, hey,
There's a
thank
lot
you
of
so
us.
much. Thank you so much for doing the podcast. And one more time, where can people go online to find the organization?
SoCal, so SoCal 350.org.
Awesome.
So this song, like this festival, is about fighting for what we believe in, even when it hurts. Yeah, it's fun to get together. I love the bands that are here. I love beer, I love food, I love buying things from vendors. But we also have a mission too, which is to take clean energy and make it a conversation. Which is to take a society and remind it that there's a better way. You guys help by being here. Thank you so much. This is Never Stop Listening. And all the change will bring. So come on, hold on tight, love. That you never stop listening. That you never stop listening. That you never stop listening. It's such a world side love. That you never stop listening. So let's face the fire.
What's up, Skylar? I was able to track down Skylar Funk on the area after he did an awesome, epic performance. What's up, Skylar?
Hey, man, thanks for the compliments. What's up? It's Sunstock. Today was crazy. Some ups and downs.
Yeah, there definitely was some ups and downs. Everything, let's start with the positives, dude. Everything was fucking awesome. The vibe was great. There's a good turnout. Everyone was super awesome. But in the beginning, there were a few glitches. So what was that attributed to?
Some major problems, dude. To be completely honest, we hired a guy to produce the main stage, and he brought a solar generator that didn't work, and he showed up so late that we didn't have time to pivot to a backup.
Right.
And we had to cut 4 bands. And I don't mean to throw anyone under the bus, and it really is my fault for not seeing it coming.
Yeah.
I'm too trusting. I'm a very trusting guy, and I just like.
You're too nice.
I should
You're
have
too
seen the
nice.
signs.
Yeah.
I should have known.
You always have to
I
be
should
prepared.
have had a backup plan.
Yeah. Well,
and,
you know.
And at the end of the day, there's no passing the buck.
Yeah.
But if that Jenny worked right and he came on time, we wouldn't have cut those bands, and everything would have been groovy.
groovy.
But other than that, man, everything has turned out super awesome. I was over at the activist action stage. I got a bunch of interviews. We got a lot of really good talking with them.
Those
Dude,
guys work so hard.
I met a bunch of your Greenpeace friends. Everyone here has been really awesome. So other than the growing pains, this is only the second annual and shit happens. And other than that, I think it's been an amazing show. And Robert DeLong, man, that guy, he really puts on a really good show.
We have some amazing artists today.
Yes.
I'm just so sorry. I mean, I love even the music that's happening right now. These guys are grooving hard. That's the Soft White 60s.
Soft White
These
60s.
guys kill and Run River North. I mean, I can't name all the bands who killed it today. And I can't even list these 4 bands that didn't get to play are fucking great bands of just.
What is one of the bands that didn't get to play it? And I'm going to put one of their songs on right now. And we're gonna just go into it I let you go. What was one of them?
Fuzzy Crystals.
The Fuzzy Crystals
are an awesome kind of like old school psych rock band that just have huge heart and just rock super hard.
All right.
And I highly recommend that you listen.
Okay, well then let's check out. Here's the Fuzzy Crystals, and thank you so much, Skylar, for taking out your time. I know you're really busy.
Being here, man.
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
Thanks for checking out Punk Rock and Politics. If you enjoyed the show and the information brought to you, please subscribe and share the podcast. It helps us here at Punk Rock and Politics, but more importantly, it helps the featured bands gain exposure. Also, if you know any bands or musicians who would like to join the political mosh pit and have their music featured on the Punk Rock and Politics podcast, please email us at punkrockandpolitics@gmail.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. And rock on, political junkies.
I think all our society is run by insane people for insane objectives.
Doing a better job of talking to each other. The left hand now knows what the right hand is doing.
Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it.